on stage one Sunday matinee performance of Jersey Boys on Broadway. And as I looked out into the audience, I thought to myself, whoa, because staring at me from 10 rows back was the legend himself, Clint Eastwood. At this point in my life, I was playing the role of Frankie Valli's wife, Mary Delgado, in the Broadway musical, and just like many of you here, following my dreams, it took me so much hard work to get to this point. In an industry often based on who you know, and I knew no one, and based on how you look, which I've been told is too Italian, too short, too different. We got word that Clint Eastwood was going to be directing the film version of Jersey Boys, and they began calling people in from our cast to audition. And an audition is just like an interview. They were looking for someone to play my role of Mary Delgado, so my agent and I tried to get me an audition to be seen. A few weeks go by, my agent calls me and she says, Renee, I'm so sorry. I don't know what the problem is. They won't give you an audition for Mary Delgado, but they'll give you one for one of the smaller roles, one of the angels who sings my boyfriend's back. I hung up the phone so disappointed and so confused because every girl I knew on Broadway was getting an audition for Mary Delgado but me. So I spent some time feeling my feelings, communicating with myself, and then I threw my hands up and I said, what am I going to do? I'm still going to go in and audition for one of the angels. The day of the audition, the casting director says to me, Renee, would you like to sing my boyfriend's back first or read the scene? And at that moment, I heard this quiet little voice within say, you have to do this, it feels too right. And I looked at the casting director in the eyes and I said, you know, Jeff, I was really hoping to come in and read for the role of Mary Delgado. I had no idea what he was going to say. He looks back at me and he goes, I was just thinking the same thing. I said, amazing, great. So I did the Mary audition that day, and I left there feeling so grateful, so happy because I got a chance. I gained an opportunity, and that's all I wanted. And my story's not unique. For me, it was about communicating effectively to read for a movie role, but for you, it could be communicating effectively to build your network of relationships like you're doing here at Peak, or communicating effectively to lead your team with confidence, or to pitch to investors. Whatever the case may be, I believe everything starts with communication. And no matter how advanced artificial intelligence gets, the one thing AI can never replace is human connection. Yes. So over the next 25 minutes, I'm going to share with you 3 steps of my 7-step connect method to communicate effectively and create those genuine connections that lead to limitless opportunities. Are you ready, Peak? I said, are you ready, Peak? Woo! Yes, that's what I'm talking about. All right, now everybody up on your feet. Before we get into this, before we begin, I want to see some movement in your bodies. Whatever feels good. Wave your hands overhead. Come out in the aisle. You want to do a little cha-cha? Yes. Whatever feels good, but keep moving. You want to do a little twirl? Whatever feels good. But keep moving as I'm speaking. Why? Because research shows a direct connection between movement and improved cognitive performance, baby. So if you're ready to listen, hear, and absorb everything the speakers and I are sharing with you today, you got to move your bodies first. Let's see it, Peak. Come on. Yes. Beautiful. That's what I'm talking about. Give yourselves a round of applause. Have a seat. Step 1 of the Connect method, communication with self. Communication with self. This first step is number 1 because internal communication leads to external payoffs. And those are payoffs in your business, in your relationships, in your health. In order to communicate effectively with others, we have to first do so within ourselves. So here is a simple yet powerful practice to adopt each and every day to start to create that strong relationship with yourself. Are you ready to hear it? Yes. My friends, I'm all about simple, easy to implement tools so we make sure we execute them, right? Because we can learn a lot of tools, but if we never put them into practice, what does it help? So what you do is you wake up in the morning, God willing, you open up your eyes, go to the bathroom, do your business, come back to your quiet space alone, and ask yourself one question. Ready for it? How am I feeling? How am I feeling? Instead of rolling over to your nightstand to grab your smartphone, to check your emails, or hop on social media for the good old S&C, scroll and compare. There's that laugh, you know what I'm talking about. Where we look into the lives of others and then compare ourselves against their perceived realities and then wonder why we don't feel so good about ourselves. It's because we're moving further and further away from who we are and what's going on within. Rather than doing that, leave that smartphone on the nightstand. Ask yourself, how am I feeling? And then take 5 to 10 minutes to put pen to paper to write the answer. Now, why am I telling you to write the answer instead of type it in the notes app on your phone? Because cognitive scientist Daniel Willingham has noted that students remember what they think about. And when they're writing, they're thinking about formulating the letter that formulates the word, that formulates the sentence, thus giving them a deeper understanding of that information. So take 5 to 10 minutes, and even if for the first minute or two nothing's happening, you're writing and you're like, I don't know why this Renee woman told me to do this. Nothing's happening. Good. Keep writing. Keep writing, because what you're doing is activating stream of consciousness. That means you're pulling those thoughts from your subconscious mind that you're often not aware of, that are running the show, by the way, into your conscious mind, through your hand and onto the page. And it becomes this beautiful mental dump on the piece of paper. After that 5 to 10 minutes is up, take another moment or two to read back what you wrote, because let me tell you, it can be enlightening what you find. I've had times where I read back what I wrote and I'm like, oh, I thought I was over that argument with my husband, but apparently I'm not, because I'm still writing about it. And what this does is gives you clues, insights as to what's going on within. That way, when it's time for you to open up that bedroom door and connect with your family, or walk into the office and communicate with your team, you're now doing so from a more aligned place, because you've taken the time to communicate with the most important person in your life first, you. Then before bed, do the same thing. After you have your crazy day, ask yourself, how am I feeling? And put all of those thoughts on the page so you can sleep with more peace. If I did not practice strong communication with myself each and every day, I never would have heard that quiet voice within telling me to speak up and thus gain an opportunity. See, that quiet voice, that was my gut instincts, gut intuition, the quiet voice of my soul, whatever you'd like to call it. At the end of the day, it's the truest part of you, your inner compass, always guiding you with exactly what to do, what to say, and who to say it to. And when we start operating in our lives from that voice, everything falls into place. But what happens so often is we listen to and operate from that other voice, that loud voice up here, that voice that's like, oh, you're not good enough. Who are you to sit in this audience of peak partnership? No one wants to partner with you, Renee. Who are you to speak? Anybody else know that voice? Anybody else? Yes. And it can feel like that voice is trying to take us down, right? I want to offer you a perspective shift. Instead of thinking that that voice is trying to torture you, I want you to look at it as a voice of protection, because that's what it's doing. It thinks it's protecting you from embarrassment, from failure. So look at it just like you would a parent who wants to protect you. Ooh, zipper your jacket so you don't catch cold. Look both ways before you cross the street. It's the same idea. So instead of trying to fight that voice or trying to ignore it or push it away, I invite you to thank it. When that voice acts up, oh, you're not good enough, thank you so much, but I got this. I even like to give mine a name, okay? I call her Judy. And I'm like, okay, Judy, you're acting up a little bit. I got this. And by doing that, that loud voice quiets, so that inner voice that's the truest part of you, elevates. And when you start letting that voice lead you, all of a sudden communication becomes simpler. You connect with the right people and you become a fast decision maker. And let me tell you, being a quick decision maker in business and in life is one of the greatest qualities you can possess. Step 1 of the Connect method, communication with self. If this feels good, say, oh yes. Oh yes. Woo! Are you ready? Oh yes. Are you ready for step 2 of the Connect method? I need to hear it, Peak. Yes! Oh, you got a kick for that. Step 2 of the Connect method, complete listening. Complete listening. Listening to hear and not just to respond. See, everybody else is telling you that communication is about what you say. I'm telling you, communication is about what you hear. And this second step is crucial because when we listen in a complete way, it's a two-way gift. We give the person who's speaking an open platform to be heard, while we ourselves gain the gift of learning something new, gaining a new perspective, or what I think is most beautiful, realizing we are more alike than we are different. Yes, my friends, we can turn on any news channel at any time of day, on any network, and see a lot of people talking over each other, talking at each other, but never talking with each other. And that's because we've gotten so attached to our own labels, whether they be political or religious or cultural. And the minute we're in a conversation and the person who's speaking says something that we identify as a difference, boom, we cut off from listening. Right? And thus, we see this great divide we live in today. But here at Peak, here where the high achievers gather, we're not about division, we're about uniting. Am I right or am I right? Yeah. Woo! And we do that through complete listening. So here are the 6 parts to step into being a complete listener. So do we have our notebooks and our pens out? Yes. Great. Part 1 of being a complete listener. Ground yourself. Ground yourself through a powerful practice called box breathing. Now, this is a practice used by Navy SEALs, by professional athletes, actors. And what this does is calm your nervous system down, so in this sense, you can tune in and listen to the other person. So everybody stand on up, because we are action takers here at Peak. And it's very, very easy. We just breathe in through the nose for 4 counts, hold it for 4 counts, out through the mouth for 4 counts, and hold it for 4 counts. So we're going to do this now because we are action takers, yes or yes? And we're going to practice this now all day long. So we're going to go in through the nose for 4, hold it, out through the mouth for 4, hold it. Here we go. In through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, hold it. 1, 2, 3, out through the mouth, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold it. 2, we are doing it again, in through the nose. 2, 3, 4, and hold it. 2, out through the mouth, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold it. Last time, here we go, in through the nose. 2, 3, 4, and hold it. 2, 3, out through the mouth. 2, 3, 4, and hold it. 2, 3, 4. Give yourselves a round of applause. Beautiful. Have a seat. Now, I'm sure many of you even felt a little bit of shift in your energy just from doing it 3 times. I know I feel it the second I tap into it. And you want to think, fill your belly. Breathe lower instead of from up here, yes? Because usually we're breathing so shallow because we have so much to do and so many people to see that then we can't focus. So think, drop it down into the belly and breathe just like you did, yes? So that's part 1 of being a complete listener. Part 2, become distraction proof. My friends, when we're in a conversation and we appear to be distracted, that can be taken as a sign of disrespect. So let's do ourselves and our relationships a service by becoming distraction-proof. So when you're communicating virtually, close out all those other tabs. I know you think we can't tell when you're on another site, Amazon.com, shopping for products, but we can feel when that energy is disconnected. So close out all those tabs, and when you're communicating virtually and in person, put your phone out of sight. Now, I don't mean just flip it over so you can't see the time. I mean put it out of sight. Why? A study was done called the iPhone effect that looked at two people in a conversation with a cell phone present. Even though neither person looked at the phone, neither person picked up the phone, still that phone proved to be a distraction. So think about how powerful this will be when you're in conversations with someone who is a potential partner, a potential investor, and you put that phone out of sight and you're locked in with them, you better believe they're going to want to do business with you. So part 2, become distraction-proof. Part 3, have open body language. As that person's speaking, refrain from having your arms folded, your head in your hands, shoulders off to the side, which gives off an energy of disinterest. Instead, think heart open. Just like I am to all of you, and you are to me. Thank you for that. Think heart open, make eye contact, smile at that person, let them know that you are invested in them. Let me tell you, those old school manners go a long way. So let's use them. Part 4, catch the commonalities. As that person's speaking, tune into things that you have in common. This does 2 things. Number 1, it keeps you present, because you have to be present to catch those commonalities. And number 2, it gives you connection points to share later. So part 4, catch the commonalities. Part 5, embrace the silence. Oh my God, I know it can feel so terrifying when you're in a conversation and there's like dead silence for a minute or two. It's like, oh, they're going to think I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to sound like the expert if I don't say something. I invite you to embrace that silence. Instead of cutting that person off before they're done speaking or jumping in to speak right when they're done, and then filling like with filler words, like. The reason we fill with those filler words is because we're jumping in to speak before we know what we want to say. Instead, take that power of the pause to process and let what that person just said land. That way, Wow, Samantha, I've never heard it said like that before. Then when you go to speak and to respond, it's from an authentic place instead of pulling for straws of what to say. Embrace the silence. Say it with me. Embrace the silence. Beautiful. That is part 5. And part 6 of being a complete listener. Acknowledge what that person said, and then reflect back the commonalities. Wow, John, thank you so much for sharing that. I have to tell you, I can't believe you're from New Jersey. I'm from New Jersey too. Boom, connection is made, defenses go down, and now we can have a 2-way conversation. Complete listening. All the human spirit wants is to feel seen, heard, and understood. And when we listen in a complete way, we offer this. Think about how good it feels when you're in a conversation with someone and they're right there with you and they're nodding along and they're responding. Whew, feels so good. You're like, ooh, I want to talk to this person again. Well, the same holds true for you with others. My client David is a top multifamily real estate broker in New Jersey. He is a type A personality, high energy, with a fast mind. So his struggle, like so many of ours, is listening to hear in conversations because he's always thinking about what he wants to say by going in with an agenda. Well, since he's been practicing this box breathing, he's able to slow down before his conversations and his calls with clients, and he's now able to focus in and listen to their needs before talking about his own. And he also, this is a great great practice for you all to use. He carries around now a little notebook with a pen, part of what I call that old school simplicity way of communicating, pen to paper. And he carries it with him. So in his conversations, he takes notes as the person's speaking so he gets reminded of the connection points. And let me tell you, as a result, he has been moving deals into contract left and right. And more importantly, he's creating these long-standing relationships because he's going into these conversations seeking to understand instead of being understood. Complete listening. Listening to hear and not just to respond. If you are ready to step into the shoes of being a complete listener, say yes. Step 1 of the Connect method, communication with self. Waking up every day and before bed each night asking yourself, how am I feeling? And then thanking that voice that's trying to protect you, so you lower it and you elevate the voice of your gut intuition. Are you ready? Are you ready to hear the third and final step today of the Connect method? Woo, that's what I like to hear. Step 3, talk from the heart. Talk from the heart. This third step is vital because when we talk from the heart, we take action in our lives through speaking up. And speaking up is your superpower. Say it with me, Peak. Speaking up is your superpower. See, but nowadays, so many people replace speaking up with typing up, because they believe that speaking up means being confrontational. But I'm here to tell you that communication does not mean confrontation. Write that down and bold it in your notes. Communication does not mean confrontation. And by believing they're one and the same, we're denying ourselves beautiful opportunities for connection. Now, I understand speaking up doesn't always feel comfortable, but that's why we must make it a consistent practice, because nothing in life gets accomplished without speaking up. So here are the 5 parts to start practicing. Are you ready to hear them? Yes. Part 1, know what you want to speak up about. Do you want to share your thoughts and opinions? Do you want to address a concern? Or do you want to ask a question or ask for what you want? Know what you want to speak up about and know why. See, the why is that magic ingredient that'll give you that gentle nudge of courage when you feel afraid. For me, my why in speaking up in that audition room was that I knew I couldn't live a life of regret, knowing that I could have grabbed hold of an opportunity if I just spoke up. So know what you want to speak up about and know why. Part 2, do a brain dump again. Put that pen to paper. Part of that old school simplicity. Write down everything that you'd say and then create clear bullets of the main points you'd want to address. Part 3, practice the how. See, the how makes all the difference, and you always want to speak up from a place of love and grace and kindness, even if the other party doesn't seem to deserve it. You know what I'm saying? And we do that by going in a room alone and verbalizing, just like I am right here. Because when we verbalize, we magnify and maximize what we're saying, allowing us to hear if our tone matches our intention. Because you and I both know we've all had those times where something comes out of our mouth and then we're like, ooh, that didn't come out the way I meant. And then we backpedal and we dig ourselves out of the hole. Yeah, I see the head shakes. Let's avoid that miscommunication by verbalizing aloud. If you want to take it to the next level of practice, bring in a trusted friend or a pet like I would. When my English bulldog, Frank the Tank, was alive, I'd sit him in the room and I'd speak up to him, and it always ended in a beautiful conversation. If you want to bring it to the next level of practice, grab that smartphone, and instead of using it to distract us, use it to connect us, and press record and speak to that camera like it's the person. So part 3, practice the how. Part 4, reach out to that person via text or email and say, hey, can you give me some times you're available to meet in person? You always want to meet in person if possible, because that's the clearest communication. If not, a Zoom. If you can't Zoom, a phone call. And beyond that, then you have to wait to speak up, because we're not doing that through text. Amen. And part 5, speak up. You've already done it. You've already practiced, and sure, you may be nervous, but the best part is that's natural, and it's not about perfection. It's about connection. Say it with me. It's not about perfection. It's about connection. And as long as you're speaking up from that place of love and grace and kindness, you open the doorway for a two-way conversation to be had. My client Rachel likes to say that she grew up in a family that was communication phobic. And I love this phrase so much because I think it's a quality that so many of us can identify with. And she describes it as being a part of a family that only talked about surface level things. It was either how's the weather or I'm getting milk at the store, and that was it. No one talked about feelings, or if there was a serious problem to address, it was avoided. And as a result, Rachel went through most of her life avoiding important communication, and it caused her a lot of problems personally and professionally. So we started working on this idea of speaking up, being your superpower. And she hopped on a Zoom call with me after weeks of working on this, and she was so excited. And she's like, Renee, I have to tell you something. She said, yesterday I hopped on a phone call with a supervisor of mine who I'm doing some freelance work for. She said, and on the call, I brought up taking initiative on a project that we had talked about previously. She said, as soon as I brought it up, I could feel my supervisor just shut down. And a few minutes later, we hung up the phone, and she said, I felt so uneasy because I knew there was a disconnect. Rachel said, I was just about to fall into my usual pattern of avoiding and walking away and being like, I don't know what the problem is. She said, but then I heard your voice in my head saying, speaking up is your superpower. So she took a breath. She called her supervisor right back, and she addressed the situation. She said, I felt like there was a disconnect when I brought up taking initiative on this project. And as soon as she did that, the floodgates of conversation were opened. Her supervisor shared her perspective. They talked about the miscommunication, and they ended the call with talking about next steps together for that project. And all it took was speaking up, right? Speaking up is your superpower. And I want you to lock into this because you're going to be learning so many tools, insights, strategies over these next few days. So I don't want this to fall to the bottom of the pot for you. I want it to stay at the top. So whatever you need to do to anchor to this idea that speaking up is your superpower, maybe that's following me on Instagram at I am Renée Marino, where I share content about this, or grabbing my book, whatever it is for you to anchor to this idea so you use this in every part of your life, with your family, in your business, and at this event. Through speaking up, you have the opportunity to create collaborations, connections, and relationships with people who can help you get to your peak, and you can help them get to theirs. Yes, speaking up is your superpower, and it's not just your right, it's your duty. I'll leave you with this. A few weeks after that Jersey Boys film audition, my agent called me again, and this time she said, "You're Mary Delgado in the movie. Clint Eastwood loves you." And I was like, "Woo!" It was one of the most surreal moments of my life. That first day of filming, with never being on a TV or film set before, it felt like jumping off of a cliff. But again, I heard that quiet voice of my soul say, "Renee, you know what you're doing. Clint Eastwood hired you. Trust in your talent and leap." And that first day of filming and every day that followed, after we were finished shooting for the day, I would sit and eat lunch with Clint Eastwood, ask him every question I could, and then listen in a complete way. See, just like each and every one of you here today, I'm a sponge, and I like to use every opportunity I can to learn and to grow. A month into the film, I'm eating lunch once again because, come on, what's better than eating? And I'm sitting with Clint Eastwood and one of the producers of the film when they begin talking about how Clint knew he wanted me for the role when he saw me perform on Broadway. And I said, "Do you guys want to hear a funny story? I never got an audition for the role of Mary. The only reason I got to read the scenes is because I opened up my big mouth in the room and asked." And the two of them looked at each other. They said, what do you mean? We requested you. We said, we want the girl from the Broadway show to come into this audition. Imagine my surprise. I came to find out that day that there was a middle person, casting associate, juggling a few films at once and just dropped the ball on having me come in to audition. In other words, if I did not have the ability to speak up and effectively communicate my desire in the room that day, I could have missed my once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I could have been sitting in the movie theater watching Jersey Boys instead of on the screen in Jersey Boys, never knowing that Clint Eastwood was waiting for me to walk through that door. So I ask you, who is waiting for you to walk through their door? Well, now is your time to speak up and seize every opportunity meant for you. Now is your time to communicate effectively and create those genuine connections that lead to limitless opportunities. Now is your time to build powerful partnerships to help you get you to your peak. Now is your time. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a beautiful day. Thank you.
I don't know about you, but I feel good.